The Tragedy of Macbeth. I just watched this movie on Apple TV Plus. It just came out on that platform. It's been in theaters for a few weeks, and they do that now so a movie is still eligible for Oscars. So they do that limited theatrical run, and then they're releasing it on a streaming service. So yeah, The Tragedy of Macbeth. With that title, I thought maybe it was like a remix or a reimagining of the story of the Shakespeare play. And there are a few differences that I'm not really going to talk about because they're really not that major. But no, this is pretty much straight up Macbeth, which makes it a different viewing experience because I'm very familiar with that story. A lot of people are very familiar with that story. So you're not really paying attention to the story as much. You're really paying attention to how the story is told because you know the story. And yeah, so this is Joel Coen, the first movie he's ever done without Ethan Coen. And if you didn't know it, you'd never guess this is a Coen Brothers film or one of the Coen Brothers films because their style is so based in reality in a way in terms of the look of a film. It's very realistic, usually the look of the film, and then you have characters that are very relatable, but they're very comedic, very dark tone. But yeah, very black comedy kind of style. But it's always based in realism. That's what the appeal of their movies are. But this is very, very staged. It doesn't look like a realistic setting in any kind of way. Like, I mean, there's shots, yeah, that look like, I mean, yeah, they're on a soundstage, which it was all shot in LA on a soundstage. And then the lighting is very dramatic. I mean, there's one scene where Denzel Washington is walking down a hallway and there's just these very specific areas of light. So yeah, there's not a realistic staging of it. It's a very stagey staging of it, which I found fascinating. Beautiful. It's beautiful to watch, but it's just interesting that it's not typical Coen style in any kind of way. Yeah, so it's beautifully shot. It's black and white, 4:3. Very interesting choice. Then it comes to the performances. I mean, it seems silly to me to sit here and praise Denzel Washington and Frances McDormand. Like, want me to tell you how good of actors they are? But yeah, what I love about Denzel is that this is so stagey, and yet he somehow makes it still so approachable and relatable and realistic, which is, I don't know how he does that. That's a sign of a great stage actor as well. So Denzel is incredible in this. Obviously, he's insanely charismatic in this role, and he's probably going to get another Oscar nomination for this, which is no big surprise. So he's fantastic in this. Frances McDormand, it's great to see her in a role that doesn't seem tailor-made for her. Her last two Oscar wins, Nomadland and Three Billboards Outside of, oh God, I forget, the Ebbings, Missouri, was it? Ugh, I should have looked at it beforehand. Oh well. Yeah, those last two Oscar wins, as good as she was in those movies, they seemed like very much tailor-made roles for her. Like, they didn't seem like a huge stretch for her. And this is more of a stretch for her. And obviously, she's just as good as a role that seems tailor-made for her. To see these two together is just amazing. I want to give a special shout out to Corey Hawkins, who is just doing amazing work since he broke out in Straight Outta Compton. Like, since then, he starred in the reboot of 24, like as a new Jack Bauer, and then he did a musical this year with In the Heights, and now he's doing Shakespeare in this. So the range he is showing in the last few years is more than an actor does in like 3 decades. So yeah, I hope he continues to rise and be a big, big star because he's fantastic. So The Tragedy of Macbeth, as a movie that I'm looking to have a fresh experience with, I'm going to give it a B plus. As a Macbeth adaptation, I'm going to give it an A. Like, I hope this is shown in drama and theater and Shakespeare classes. I much rather would have watched this version than some of the other versions I did see in school. Just as a movie that I'm looking to experience a story with. It didn't surprise me in any kind of way, which of course it wouldn't. But yeah, so that's why I'm giving it a B plus. I wasn't over the moon about it. It's just a very well made, obviously very well acted. It's an enjoyable viewing experience. I didn't get excited about it necessarily. It seems like more of an exercise in a good director and good acting as opposed to a movie that really drew me in because just I'm so familiar with this story. But yeah, what do you guys think of The Tragedy of Macbeth?